KWFN and KWFN HD1 San Diego.
Hi, I'm Wandy Peralta.
Wandy gloves it, sets himself, fires to first in time.
The Padres play here in San Diego, number 1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
And Odyssey Sports Station. San Diego, it's time to fire it up. From the beaches to the ballparks, from the gas lamp to North County, no one knows America's finest city like he does.
You can't just punt on a Manny Machado prime year.
He's a fourth-generation San Diegan, born and raised in the heart of this community. Passionate, opinionated, and always bringing you the real talk on your teams, your city, and everything in between.
Braden totally knows his stuff. He's ready for the next step. That guy is good.
Live and local, it's the Braden Surprenant Show.
But I think Braden's one of the up-and-coming young stars in the media game in San Diego.
Now, here's your host, Braden Surprenant.
What's up, San Diego, and happy Thursday to everybody out there in America's finest city. I'm Braden Surprenant. This is the Braden Surprenant Show, live and local each and every day from 10 to 2 on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. 11 o'clock hour here after we did the roundtable. Fun roundtable, a little hostile roundtable. If you missed any of it, are they replaying? I don't know if they're replaying it today.
I don't think so because
We got a Padre game tonight.
Yeah,
Padre game tonight.
they might, unless they bump it up an hour early.
They only have like 2 hours of Gwen and Chris. I don't know if they're doing that or not, but it is on YouTube. It will be wherever you get your podcast. Go out and check it out. It's great. Tune into it before we get to tonight's game. Padres and Rockies. Now, here's a couple of things. We talked about some of these topics today on the roundtable, but let's talk about last night's game. Let's talk about the importance of defense. Right, Frank? The importance of defense. Last night for the Padres, a couple of things. Okay, first of all, the offense continues to absolutely falter. Just absolutely falter. They had 6 hits last night. They only mustered 1 run. It was a solo shot by Fernando. That was it. I mean, the Reds mowed you down all week this week. All week this week. The Reds pitching mowed you down. You single-handedly kept the Reds alive in the race. Could have completely put them out of their misery. You could have ended it. You could have ended the threat. You could have not had to worry about teams behind you, and the Padres failed to take care of business. The Padres, the entire month of August and September, have failed to take care of business. A lot of it has to do with the offense. And the thing that's weird about the offense, right? It goes where Manny goes. We talked about that yesterday. Manny's been awful since August 1st. I mean, just not very good at all. I'm not going to sit here and just beat a dead horse. He knows he hasn't been good. He took his anger out on a cooler the other day. It doesn't need to be said. He obviously is trying to get through this. And just saying it over and over again is not going to do anything about it. You know what's bothering him. We know the offense only goes where he goes, even to the point, as we brought up yesterday, the 5-game winning streak that the Padres had in the month of August, Manny hit .333 during that 5-game winning streak. Manny, outside of that, has been hit like $150. It's been awful. Gavin Sheets has been hitting the cover off the ball. Ryan O'Hearn's been hitting the ball. Jackson Merrill's finally starting to get a little bit lucky. He got some luck on Monday. He's starting to hit the ball. Fernando Tatis Jr. In fact, Saris had an article about this earlier today about how his point of contact in the zone is changing. It's going back to what it was before. He's making that adjustment. He's starting to get on a little bit of a roll here. You saw the home run last night. Even Fernando is starting to get things going offensively. It's starting to work out for everybody in the lineup, except for one person. And that apparently is the only key to success for scoring runs. It's crazy. I'm not complaining about it. I'm not, it's obviously kind of a problem. I don't think it's a fixable problem. It's just kind of a weird thing. Everybody, Cronenworth's putting together good at-bats. I mean, everybody in the lineup over the last 16 days, 16 games, has actually hit fairly well. But if Manny's not hitting, they don't score any runs. It's crazy to me. Because usually when your superstar doesn't hit, you have enough around them to go out there and swing the bat and pick up where the star leaves off. And even when they're doing that, they still can't score any runs. It's baffling to me. Let's talk about how last night's game transpired. Everybody wants to talk about that bunt. All right, let's talk about the bunt. It's bottom of the fourth inning. And at that point in time, in the bottom of the fourth inning, you're scoreless. Okay? It's a scoreless game. Gavin Sheets starts the inning off with a walk. Ramon Laureano singles. So you have runners on first and second and nobody out. And here comes Jackson Merrill. Jackson Merrill decides to bunt. So Jackson Merrill bunts into a force out and gets Gavin Sheets out at third base. Laureano gets the second, and now you got first and second with an out. Ryan O'Hearn flies out. Jake Cronenworth pops up. You get nothing out of the inning after going back-to-back guys reaching base. Overall, in the context, the reason why people didn't like this bunt is because it didn't work. If Merrill gets the bunt down and Sal Stewart does not make a play on the ball, a perfect play on the ball, in which he gets Gavin Sheets out at third base, nobody's complaining about this. If Ryan O'Hearn comes up in the next at-bat and hits a double and it scores 2 runs, nobody's complaining about this. The fact that they scored no runs means you got to complain about this. I would like to see Jackson Merrill swing the bat there. More likely than not. I'd like them to swing the bat right there. More than bunting, 100%. But even that's not a guarantee. And I have to agree with Chris Ello on that. Like, if he were to swing the bat and hit a ground ball to second, it might be a double play. That was 2 outs and a runner on third. I mean, there's so many other scenarios that could play out where it's ill-effective. If Jackson Merrill gets the bunt down, there's runners on second and third. The fly ball by Ryan O'Hearn scores a run. Everybody's contributing. You get a run. Just because the outcome could be a lot better, like the ceiling's a lot higher if Jackson Merrill swings the bat, doesn't mean that is a high likelihood of happening. You know, I'm pretty sure that Paul brought up the fact, a 3-run homer would have been great. That's assuming Jackson Merrill hits a 3-run homer there. I mean, with the luck that Jackson Merrill has had, which I think has now changed for the better, he could have popped up to the infield, would have done nothing. He could have grounded out into a double play, could have been nothing. I'm telling you, there were so many different ways where it could have been nothing. Unfortunately, it wasn't executed properly, and the Padres don't get any runs out of the fourth inning. I'm not overly upset about the bunt. I'm not. The stat that Ben Higgins said on the roundtable that I am a little concerned about is the fact that the Padres lead Major League Baseball in bunting. Okay, that's fine. Not only that, they are way higher in bunting than the average team in Major League Baseball. In fact, they double it. Okay. But at the same time, they double like the second highest bunting team in baseball. That, to me, is a little bit too much bunting. I get it. You play a little small ball. I think it's great for an offense to find different ways to win, find different ways to score. I talked about the beginning of the year when they were executing all over the place. But doubling the second highest bunting team in baseball, now teams are prepared for you to bunt. That's why Sal Stewart was prepared to crash after Jackson Merrill squared the first time to come up and make a great play. You're not catching anybody off guard. Freddie Fermin was catching a couple of guys off guard early and often as a new member of the Padres. Nobody's falling asleep on the Padres when it comes to bunt. You know they're going to bunt. It's like playing a Big West school in baseball. You know what's going to happen. Teams prepare for it. They're on edge. When you can successfully lay down bunts and you don't do it often, it becomes more of a valuable asset for you, at least in my opinion. So that's the bunting situation. You go through the rest of the game. Nick Pivetta did really well. Nick Pivetta then got a 1-run lead. And then you get that 1-run lead. You had some great plays, too. Ramon Laureano made a great play in the 7th inning. And then you get to the 8th inning. And this is where all the chaos started to ensue. Okay, so in the bottom of the 7th inning, you go ground out, single, ground into double play. You get to the top of the 8th inning. And now all of a sudden you're making a lot of switches, right? Because you have the lead, right? You have the lead. Okay? You have a 1-0 lead into the 8th inning. Time to make all the defensive changes. I'm going to preface this by saying, and I said this on the roundtable, I think out of the 3 assets of baseball, defense is the least important. I'm not saying you could be poor at defense, but what I'm saying is if things are similar, I would rather have my lineup and favor my decisions on the offense compared to the defense. The Padres defense overall is not bad. They have a good defensive team. Even with guys in different spots, with guys like Jake Cronenworth playing shortstop and mixing, they're good enough defensively where there's no major liability. If you want to take Gavin Sheets out after, from playing in the outfield, right, which wasn't the case last night, but if you got Gavin Sheets in the outfield and you want to get Bryce Johnson in there, I'm okay with that. That to me is an upgrade that justifies Bryce Johnson having a hit at the end of the game, taking out Gavin Sheets in the field with a lead. That justifies it to me. What does not justify to me is the defensive changes in the infield. Look, I know you got to be good up the middle. But the one that didn't make any sense is that now you're moving Arraez from second to first. You take Mason McCoy and you put him in for Ryan O'Hearn. I don't like that. I don't like that at all. So now Mason McCoy comes into the game and he moves over to shortstop. Shortstop, Jake Cronenworth goes to second base. And then they bring in Kyle Hart. I don't know who was readily available in last night's game. Okay, obviously you knew you weren't going to have a lot of studs pitching in last night's game. Obviously Morejon was available. But to try to sneak Kyle Hart in there in a 1-0 game, I mean, Kyle Hart at the beginning of the season, I was a big fan of. I liked the way he went. He was the guy that was going to be a starting pitcher as a 5 guy, number 5 starter to kind of work through some things. I didn't think you'd have to use Kyle Hart in the 8th inning. Now, I will play. I don't know who else they had. But Kyle Hart in the 8th inning in a 1-run game, that is a tough sell to me. But then he starts off the inning. He strikes out Matt McClain. He gives up a single. Then he gets a ground out. There's 2 outs. I guess you don't trust Kyle Hart against Elly De La Cruz. That could be Kyle Hart doesn't throw the ball hard enough for Elly De La Cruz to put too much damage on it. So they go with Morejon with a guy on base. I think he probably could have handled Elly De La Cruz. Elly De La Cruz hits a ground ball through to right field, gets the knock off Morejon, and now it's a 1-1 game. Miguel Andujar comes in after Adrian Morejon walks Austin Hayes. Andujar gets jammed and gets eventually the game-winning hit. And then you go offensively, it's Fernando, Arraez, and Machado. Those are your guys that should be doing damage. They did not. Strikeout, flyout, strikeout. Ran into a little bit of trouble in the 9th inning, but went up there unscathed. And then you get to the bottom of the 9th. And now you have Gavin Sheets roping a double to get the inning started. Pinch runner, Jose Iglesias, good move. I think that's a solid move right there. You need Ramon Laureano to hit the ball out of the infield, try to get somebody over to third base. Jackson Merrill flies out. Now, if Ramon Laureano dropped down a bunt, remember, this is the difference, right? In the 4th inning, they dropped down the bunt. They didn't need to drop down the bunt in the 4th inning. In the 9th inning, with it, you basically are playing extra innings right there. You got extra innings in the bottom of the 9th inning. When the home team in the bottom of the 9th inning is down 1 run that they need to get back, they get the guy over and they try to get him in. If they know they got to get the 1 run. Gavin Sheets got the double. They decided to play for the big inning with Ramon Laureano. If Ramon Laureano drops down a bunt, the Jackson Merrill sack fly or fly ball ties the game. And you're going to extras. Instead, you have Bryce Johnson up to bat with the game on the line and a runner on third base. And Bryce Johnson has to come in because he pinch hit for Mason McCoy because he had to come in to play shortstop and take Ryan O'Hearn out of the game. That could have been Ryan O'Hearn up right there. Now, I know hindsight's 20/20, okay? I understand that. They took the risk. And it didn't work out. This is the risk that you're willing to take. I don't like this risk as much as the risk of having Jake Cronenworth play shortstop. I think Jake Cronenworth playing shortstop is enough to leave Ryan O'Hearn in the game. I don't think Mason McCoy is that much better of a shortstop than Jake Cronenworth where it justifies taking Ryan O'Hearn out of the game. That's another gripe that I have. 833-288-0973, 833-288-0973. We got to take a break. We're going to talk more about this. We get Frank's opinion on the matter when we come back. We're just getting rolling. We want to get your phone calls. Ashley and San Marcos, stay on hold. We'll get you when we come back. Braden, Surprenant, show off and running. $11:21. A lot to break down from last night's game. Can't count on much, but you can always count on Sundays with the NFL on CBS and Paramount Plus. Stream your local NFL game live every Sunday, all season long, starting at just $30 for your first year. That's like $250 a month. Visit ParamountPlus.com/NFL to get started today. A lot of discussion with last night's game. I understand what the Padres are doing with putting Hart in, because sometimes you try to sneak an arm through there. And the thing is let's try to sneak Hart through the 8th inning. And if he gets into a trouble, then we can throw Morahone in. I mean, that's kind of the risk that you take when you try to limit some of the bullpen arms being used, when you don't have a lot available. You know, because you could have started with Morahone for sure, but sometimes you're sometimes you're playing the long game of the rest of the season, and you try to sneak a bullpen arm in. And they tried to do it, and unfortunately, it didn't work out. They had to go to Morahone, and all of a sudden, you end up giving up the game. 833-288-0973, 833-288-0973. Frank, takeaways from last night.
You outplayed yourself. You outmanaged yourself as far as the defensive changes goes. There was no reason to take out Ryan O'Hearn in the 8th inning for Mason McCoy. I mean, these are guys that have played. You're asking Jake Cronenworth to play a position he's played his entire career up until the time he came here. You're asking Luis Arraez to play second base, which he has done before, quite often, as a matter of fact. Ryan O'Hearn at first base, it was fine. You didn't need to make those changes, and those changes brought you into a position where you were relying on Mason McCoy and eventually Bryce Johnson on coming up with the big hit. Strike looking, swinging strike, strikeout swinging. 3 pitches Bryce Johnson saw in the 9th inning. With a runner still on second, by the way. Didn't move him over. He's stranded there. Not a great look. As you went with Manny Machado. Manny Machado back on June 20th was hitting .311. Since June 20th, he is hitting .243, 12 home runs, 39 RBIs, 66 strikeouts, 22 walks, and has a .421 slugging percentage. That is a long downturn for Manny Machado. From his peak, it wasn't his peak batting average, but from .311, he has not been at or above .311 since June 20th. He's hitting .243. Offense, still listless. Got nothing on offense. And you wasted 2 great starts from Michael King, who is returning for the first time in a month, and Nick Pivetta. You should have won all 3 of these games with the starts that your starting pitching gave you, and you end up losing the series 2 out of 3. Now 3 games behind the Dodgers with 5 series left to play. Good news is you're playing the Rockies right now, who just got swept by the Dodgers. But you've made this, if you're going for the division, you made this so much harder on yourself to try to get this done and try to topple the Dodgers. You made it so much harder.
I think the division is over.
Oh, it is.
It's over. They lost it this week. We talked about what you needed to do in the 19 games left. You needed to win every series. And you needed the Dodgers to lose 2 series. And that was assuming no sweeps. The worst case scenario is you would have got swept by the Reds and then the Dodgers sweep the Rockies. That would have been worst case scenario. This is very much close to it. The division is over. You're not winning it. There's no winning of the division. So you might as well just focus on maybe trying to catch the Cubs to get home field advantage, or just understanding that you are the 5 seed. Got to try to hold off the Mets for the 6, because that would be catastrophically bad, and get yourself in the playoffs.
The Mets are helping you also, because they're
the
not
Mets
winning.
are helping you out. The Mets are totally helping you out right now. But That's where you're at. The division is over. Padres fans, just stop. The division is over. They lost it. They lost it this week. If they end up going on a tear and they win it, great. But I'm telling you right now, that is a pipe dream. The division is over. They're not going to win it. They lost it this week. And I think trying to catch the Cubs is going to be very difficult because you're 3 games back from the Cubs, too.
And they just took 2 out of 3 against Atlanta.
Yeah. They did. So again, the Padres had multiple opportunities this month to win the division, and they failed to do so when those opportunities presented itself. The offense has not been great. And when the offense has been good, the starting pitching hasn't been great. And when the starting pitching and the offense has been good, the bullpen hasn't been great. This is a bad time to not be able to put it all together. It's a terrible time to do that. And when some of those things are working, all of a sudden, the managerial decisions aren't very good. This is a collective effort by the Padres right now and a collective failure right now down the stretch. And I'm not saying the season is over. I'm not saying that they can't come out of this, but they got to get into gear. Because now you got to get into a mode of we need to be playing our best baseball when October rolls around. And it is September 11th. And we have a handful of games left. We have 16 games left. 16 games left. And now all of a sudden, you got a couple of teams that are starting to get close to being on your ass, where you have to definitely get it into gear. And right now, if they continue on that pace, the way they've been handling just the pressure of trying to keep pace with the Dodgers, I don't like them having to play with the pressure of fighting off teams that have now been resurrected, courtesy of you. The Reds were about dead and buried, and guess what now? They're 2 games out of a playoff spot. You have resurrected the Reds. You haven't resurrected the Giants yet, but they're lingering and hanging around. At least you have the tiebreaker over the Giants. You do not have the tiebreaker over the Reds anymore. So that 2-game, you got a 5-game lead on Cincinnati. Thank God you have a 3-game lead on the Mets, and you're 4 games back behind Chicago. You are the 5 seed. I mean, I'm just going to say it right now. You are going to Chicago to take on the Cubs in the first round of the playoffs. That is your best case scenario right now. That is what you played yourself into. And it could have been a lot better. You could have had the division and been the 3 seed, which I thought would have been okay. You could have tried to catch the Cubs and be able to host a playoff series. But right now, you're looking at you have to go to Chicago and win 2 out of 3. Otherwise, you don't get any home playoff games here at Petco Park. You get 0. That is the reality of the Padres right now. That is the reality. You're pretty much the 5 seed unless you lose 3 series that the Mets win, which right now is trending towards the Padres losing a couple of series from here on out. But that is the situation. They're not going to catch Chicago, and they're not going to catch the Dodgers. Unless those 2 teams just completely fold, which they haven't. And the Dodgers got hot. They played Colorado and swept them. Padres got shut out the first game in Colorado and then kind of won the next 2. I mean, that is the difference right now. That has been kind of the difference. The Dodgers are winning a couple of more games that they need to, and the Padres are letting games get away from them. Whether it be offensively, not taking advantage of opportunities, whether it be defensively, not making the plays they need, whether it be pitching-wise, either from the starting spot or giving up walks in the bullpen that will always go back to haunt you, or whether it be maybe doing a little bit too much and trying to make some moves from a managerial perspective. They're playing their way out of good situations. And it needs to be fixed. And a team that could probably do it to get them right is the Rockies. But we know how difficult it's been for the Padres to beat the Rockies. They got to get right, and they got to get right now against Colorado. 833-288-0973, 833-288-0973. Hopefully they can get Xander Bogaerts back. That's another weapon in the lineup. But right now, I mean, the offense, this is an offense, the way they're playing right now is an offense that could get shut out for 24 straight innings again. I mean, we can talk about pitching all we want. We talked about it yesterday. The Padres pitching staff, as much of a problem as it might be to a lot of fans that watch the Padres, most teams in baseball have pitching problems right now. What a lot of teams don't have is offensive problems. And the Padres have a massive one right now. 833-288-0973, 833-288-0973. Let's get out to David in Oceanside. You're on the Braden Surprenant Show. What's going on, David?
Yo, I love what you're saying right now. Thank you so much for keeping an honest take of what's going on. There are two phenomena in sports. In the NFL, there's chargering. And in Major League Baseball, it's just padreing. And I'll define that. You run the table, and then you scratch on the 8 ball. I love Jackson Merrill, but you're right. You got to get the bunt down the third baseline. Laureano comes up. Hey, you're playing for the win. How about just lay a bunt down, move them over? That coach, they just can't get out of their own way. You can't measure padreing with a statistic. I was born and raised here. They've been doing it since, I've been following this team since 1980. God, I would love to see them win. I'm pulling for them, but I've seen this too many times, time in, time out, and it's just, but talking about statistics, why are they bunting? Well, they're like towards the bottom of the league in home runs. They're towards the bottom of the league in runners in scoring position. They're towards the bottom of the league in handling a 4-speed fastball. A 4-seam fastball. So yeah, of course they got to do what they can to score runs. And then when they have the opportunity, they don't do it. If they play fundamentally sound baseball, they're going to win. When you look at runs scored and runs allowed, the pitching's been great as far as I'm concerned, because they've given up the fewest runs of all the teams. But runs scored, the offense is quite frankly offensive. And they're making a lot of money to not deliver, and I'm not going to feel sorry for them, nor do they want anyone to feel sorry for themselves. The only thing me and Mike Schultz have in common is that we both have never coached a World Series team. And I'm not coming for them, but you guys got to deliver, man. So let's see what happens, and I appreciate you guys for keeping it real.
Absolutely, Dave. We appreciate the phone call, man. Yeah, that's just, people don't want to hear that. They didn't want to hear it yesterday when we were talking about, what could be a sketchy situation with Robert Suarez in an important game, but this is the reality of the situation right now. I don't think anybody's being too drastic about it or too emotional about it. This is the problem. This is the problem for the Padres. And right now, here's the best part about this. Okay, here's the silver lining about this. They're not going to gain any other spots, right? They're going to be the 5 seed. They're not going to miss the playoffs. They have a big enough lead on Cincinnati where they're not going to miss the playoffs. But right now, for the next 16 games, they need to get into a position focusing on themselves to get right to play the best form of Padres baseball they can play. And that is what is concerning to me, and I think a lot of other people watching this team, is this team playing right now is not playing to their capabilities. They're not playing to their level that they can reach, right? And they're not playing a good enough style of baseball that's going to win in the postseason. They're playing a style of baseball that's going to get them to the postseason, which they've already done, and it's going to be a battle in Chicago that you lose on the final day. And a lot of the continued things that they do are going to come up, and it's going to cost them a season. That is the reality of the situation right now. 833-288-0973, 833-288-0973. Got full phone lines. We're going to get your phone calls when we come back. Braden Surprenant Show on a Thursday. Getting ready for Padres and Rockies after Gwen and Chris on San Diego Sports Station 97.3 The Fan. 11:40 on a Thursday. Tough loss for the Padres last night. Talking about the realities of the situation right now. It's not great. I mean, I can't sit here and sugarcoat this. A lot of you have called me like a guy that's going to go sugarcoat everything and kiss the Padres' ass and everything like that. What did we say? When we were getting yelled at for being too positive, it was like we keep it real, dude. Like this is live takes. Nobody here's a windsock. That's why we have the saying, "Don't be a windsock." And right now, it's not great. I can't sugarcoat it. They're not playing good baseball. They're just not. And they haven't been for some time now. And they need to work on getting to the point where they can be at their best by the time October rolls around, and they have 16 games to do that. That is the reality of the situation. 833-288-0973, 833-288-0973. Juan in Oceanside, you're on the Braden Surprenant Show. What's going on, Juan?
Hey, what's up, Braden? Not much. Really love the intro song you just used. Future Islands is a great band.
It is.
But also, I wanted to talk some Padres baseball. They're not playing great right now, like you said, and I totally agree with everything that you've been bringing up in terms of maybe overmanaging and, just kind of beating ourselves more than anything. But one of the things that I wanted to point out that I think has become entirely unjustifiable on the part of Schill and the rest of the organization is having Luis Arraez hit second. And I know it's been talked about over and over and over again, But now he's at a point where he's hitting with under a 100 WRC plus. Right now it's at 99. You have to wonder with Cronenworth hitting at a 121 WRC plus and having a 113 WRC plus against lefties. I don't understand the justification of having Luis Arraez hit versus lefties when we have Jake Cronenworth. And you can bring in Jose Iglesias, who has good numbers against lefties this year, even though it might not seem like it sometimes. I don't know. I like I said before, I'm not one to overly criticize managers because they obviously know more baseball than me. But what I see and the numbers that I see, I just don't understand the choice of keeping Luis Arraez at the 2 spot. And I'm not saying keep him as a bench piece because he's still a good hitter. He can still drive in runs, but I still don't understand the choice.
I don't either, Juan. And I appreciate the phone call. And we've talked about this at nauseum for the last, I don't know how long. Weeks. I mean, it's been weeks. I would honestly say it's almost been months that we've talked about this, yet it continues to be the exact same thing. Luis Arraez in 2025 is not the same player that he was in 2024 or 2023 or 2022. He's just not. He is not that player. And so the justification, he's won 3 batting titles. He ain't winning one this year. I'm sorry to tell you, he's not winning a batting title this year. The numbers that Juan is bringing up, Too Much Morton's on Twitter tweeted out. He's got the numbers from Fangraphs. He's got the 10 players on the Padres that play all the time, including Xander, who's missing right now. And he's got them ranked by WRC plus, which is weighted runs created plus. It's a very big offensive stat to determine like how valuable you are offensively for a team. Okay. For layman's terms, that's what it is. Here's the thing about WRC plus or any stat that you see in baseball that has a plus next to it. What that means is 100 is an average Major League Baseball player. So anything over 100, you're better than an average baseball player. Anything under 100, you are below an average baseball player. So that's for OPS plus, that's for WRC plus, any stat, ERA plus, same thing for pitchers. Anything with a plus stat, that's what that means. So overall, I think one of the better metrics to determine how great an offensive player is, or like how they are at creating runs, right? Weighted runs created plus is what the stat is. Anything over 100 is good. Anything below 100 is not good. 100 is average, right? So again, thinking about average player. Here's the numbers for the Padres. Would it surprise anybody that the Padres, and this is for the whole season, so a lot of this is for Laureano and O'Hearn, it's from their Baltimore days too. It's just for 2025. Ramon Laureano has the highest WRC plus on the team this year. He's got a 148 WRC plus. That's really good. He is having a career year. Fernando's number 2. And even though Fernando has not had that great of a year, he's creating opportunities to score. He scores a lot of runs. It's based on like home runs and RBIs and putting the ball in play and scoring runs, all that stuff. Walking. Fernando's got the second most with a 128 WRC plus. Then it's Ryan O'Hearn with 126. Then it's Gavin Sheets with 123. When talking about those players, aside from Fernando, 2 of them are new players. And then some of those guys split time. Like O'Hearn and Sheets, aside from injuries that has allowed them to play almost every day now, they are pieces that are coming off the bench, one or the other. They're 4 top players. Manny Machado's 5th. I mean, that's including how bad of a month he has had. He is still 5th on the Padres, 122. Jake Cronenworth, 121. Jackson Merrill has missed a significant amount of time. He has not had the same year that he had last year. He still has a positive WRC plus. He's 7th best on the team with 106. Xander Bogaerts, who improved before he got hurt and got the average back up. Again, not very high in RBIs. Hasn't hit a lot of home runs. He's still positive on there. 103 WRC plus. He's 8th. And then it's Luis Arraez. And then it's Freddie Fermin. Arraez has a 99 WRC plus. Freddie Fermin's got an 82. Yet I look at that, and you don't have to make your lineup based on WRC plus in order, but Ramon Laureano, who is your best offensive player in 2025, he is flat out that statistically he has put up the best numbers out of anybody on the team. he continues to bat 5th or lower. And Luis Arraez, who is the second worst in creating runs, bats second almost every single night, unless he's got a day off. It doesn't make any sense to me. It will continue to not make any sense to me. I don't know why they're not moving them around. I don't know why. I don't know why they continue to be stubborn about the fact that Luis Arraez used to be this great hitter that he's just not anymore. He's still a good hitter, but he's not the player that they keep saying he was. That was last year, not this year. To quote Mike Leach, that was last year. That was last year. That was the year before, actually, if you want to be honest. It was really 2 years ago. If Luis Arraez was playing at the level that he was 2 seasons ago in Miami, the guy that you traded for, it would make sense for him to bat second. He is not that player in 2025. Ramon Laureano is. Ramon Laureano in 2025 should be batting higher in the order because of said stats. What he is doing this year. I understand. Oh, we know Luis Arraez could totally put it together. He hasn't yet. It's September. When is it going to come? And if he gets hot in the last month or the last 2 weeks, then you can move him back up. It doesn't make any sense to me. It hasn't the entire time. I was talking with Ello about this. Again, Ello's a big Arraez defender. He was like, yeah, you're acting like he's toast, and next year he could do X, Y. Next year, I don't give a bleep about next year. He's not going to be on the team. Why do I care? I don't care about next year. Who cares? Aren't you trying to win a World Series this year? Shouldn't you be putting your lineup with what you got this year? I don't get it. I understand he was a great player in Miami, and last year he was good, and everybody loves him, and I like Arraez. I love him being part of the team. I like him in the lineup every single day. Next year he could hit 325. Yeah, I'm sure he could. It could just be a bad year. But when guys have bad years, they don't bat second in the order. They don't do it. They don't bat second in the order. You know what? They probably move down lower. When Pete Crow Armstrong had gone through a slump and is still not doing very well, guess what he did? He got sent to the bench for the Cubs. Guy was an MVP candidate at the beginning of the year. He was an MVP candidate this year. And the Cubs still sent his ass to the bench. They didn't care. Go grab some pine, Slick. Kyle Tucker, MVP caliber player this season, struggled, bumped his ass down in the lineup. Cubs didn't care. Cubs are in front of you by 4 games. Look at the other teams in baseball. They don't care. They're trying to win. We care about feelings. I don't get it. It's a different philosophy. And you know what? Here's the deal. The job of the manager is to keep the clubhouse happy. I think Mike Shildt has done a great job doing that. I think Mike Shildt's guys play hard for him. I think the clubhouse loves Mike Shildt. I really don't have a problem with Mike Shildt. I don't understand this. I don't understand the batting number two thing. I haven't understood it the whole year, and they're going to continue to put it together. They're going to continue to just roll it out there and just hope that Arraez turns into the player he used to be that he's not anymore. And here's the major difference. Xander Bogaerts struggled at the beginning of the season, but you know what we did? We said, look at his numbers. Look at his swing and miss. Look at his exit velo. Look at his bat speed. Look at what he's doing on expected numbers. All of those were giving you positive signs. Look at it from the eye test. Look how he's putting together at bats. He wasn't getting lucky. There were signs that showed he was going to turn it around. I tried to tell everybody. Nobody wanted to listen. And you know what he did? He turned it around. I don't see that with Luis. We haven't seen that all year. There is nothing that he has done that has shown anybody else that he is going to magically turn into the player he was in Miami. There is nothing that is showing that. Nothing. If Arraez is bat speed was up, if his hard hit percentage was up, if it was his numbers, his expected numbers on balls in the zone were up, if he was putting together great at bats and maybe drawing some walks, which he never does, or punching things through, I would be like, you know what? You got to give this guy some time, but you're not seeing any of that. That's why it's frustrating. You're not seeing any of that. I don't get it. And the whole well, he could do it again next year. He's not going to be here next year. Why do I give a bleep what he does next year? He ain't going to be here unless he takes a massive discount. He's not on the team next year. I don't care. I care about what Arraez can do for my team in 2025. You know what Arraez can do? Arraez can put the ball in play. Arraez is scary with guys on base. Arraez should be batting 4th through 7th in the batting order. And Arraez, I'm going to tell you right now, is going to be a big reason why the Padres win if he is in that spot. I don't understand. I don't want to spend too much more time on this. I appreciate the phone call from Juan to really setting up that particular case. But sometimes, Frank, I just feel like I'm smashing my head against a wall every single day talking about this.
Yeah, I mean, it's frustrating to watch too. And like I said, I'm a baseball fan first. So it doesn't matter who I choose to root for. Frustrating baseball is frustrating baseball. No matter who you're watching. You could be watching a game between the Rockies and the White Sox. And if you see something screwed up or something wrong, you're going to be frustrated by it. It doesn't matter. Because you're a fan of the game and you want to see the game played at the highest level that could possibly be played at. And when you see things like this continuing to happen over and over and over and over again, without any inkling that there is going to be a change, it's frustrating. And that's where we're at right now. We're just rolling out the same thing, expecting something different to happen. Yeah. It's not going to work. It's shown enough. We've seen enough that this is not going to work.
It's called insanity. You know what else would be insane? Smashing my head against the wall over and over again. But that's what I feel. That's what I feel looking at this lineup every single day. And the only time that you see O'Hearn batting second, and you don't give him enough time to try to get into a rhythm batting there, is when you give Arraez a day off. You're in you got to get right for the playoffs now. You don't care about anybody else but yourself. You got 16 games left. You got to start winning some of these games. And I just don't get some of the decisions that are being made for this. 1 hour in, Clay, Dexter, Marcus, Brandon, Brad, Andy. We'll get to you when we start the noon lunchtime hour. Braden Surprenant Show. Noon lunchtime hour on 97 through the Fans, presented by Kraft Taco. The Kraft Taco, both flavors at 2 locations, Sorrento Valley and inside Balboa Park's Natural History Museum. He's Frank Marchese. I'm Braden Surprenant. This is the Braden Surprenant Show. Live and local each and every day from 10 to 2 on San Diego's number one sports station, 97.3. The Fan. A little grip of reality in the last hour. People want to go more positive this way. But we've got a lot of stuff to talk about when it comes to the San Diego Padres. We'll talk some fantasy football at the end of the show at 1:35. Eddie Brown will join us at 1 o'clock. Skyler comes in studio to pick the college football games of the week. Got a lot of great games to pick. We'll pick another 10. We're around 500 on our picks so far. Most of them against the spread. We'll see how we do this week in college football. Week 2 of the NFL season begins tonight. Commanders and Packers. 5:15 start. We'll talk some of that in the next hour as well. But we want to get back to your phone calls. 833-288-0973. 833-288-0973. Let's get out to Scott in Santa. Scott, what's going on, man?
How you doing, Braden?
I'm doing well. What do you got for us today?
I'll tell you, a long-time listener, and it's a real pleasure to hear you talk. I go back to Hacksaw days, and I've been in San Diego for 70 years. Man, I'm watching that game last night, and, I'm not obviously a manager in baseball, but bottom of the ninth, you're down by 1 run. A guy leads off with a double, and you don't bunt him over. I went through the roof, and especially with somebody like Merrill coming up, who's he's been bailing them up, and I just don't get it. I don't get why Hart was in that game. I don't get why Suarez continues to close when you got Miller, who's a dynamite. Schultz is just making some bad decisions down the road, and this team looks like they're tired. They look like they're tired, and half the team just looks like they're going up there going through the motion, and it's really sick to watch.
Yeah, it's not been a fun watch, Scott, and I appreciate you listening and tuning in, and thanks again for the phone call. Tired is I think that's a good description. They do look tired. They look like they're kind of coasting for the to the finish line, Frank. Is that out of line? That's how they look. That's the look like they're playing. Like they're satisfied with the spot they're in, and they're just kind of trying to make it to the end of the season and then hopefully flip a switch for playoff time. That's what it kind of looks like.
I would say that's a fair assessment, especially with how, we've seen the bullpen be a little iffy recently, and that's a bullpen that's been used and abused all season long. Guys, it's hard to get guys days off. Like Manny, it's hard to get him days off sometimes. I get that. These are guys that look like they've played a little bit too much this year already. And I know there are guys that can go out there, play 162 consistently, but most guys can't. And it's the guys who are the biggest keys to this team. And I get that Manny's frustrated, as he should be. It looks like these guys have gone a little bit too hard, a little bit too long. And you're right, are just trying to coast their way in.
That's just like what it looks like. You watch other teams playing right now, and they don't look like they're playing with that kind of energy. I thought the Reds looked like they were playing for their lives last night and the night before and the night before that, which they kind of are. But there's a different level of intensity. I haven't seen that from the Padres in the last couple of weeks. I haven't seen them just go out there and play their style of baseball of we're going to go play Padres baseball and apply pressure and kick people's ass. And I haven't seen that. And you got to do that against bad teams. I think you saw him rise to the occasion against the Giants and the Dodgers. But you haven't seen that against any of these American League teams that are not good. You haven't seen that you didn't see that against the Reds. You really didn't see that against Colorado over the weekend, even though they took 2 out of 3 from Colorado. They're not playing at their best right now. And they can be playing at such a higher level than they are. And if they can play at that high level, they need to get to that high level before October rolls around, because it's not an easy just flip the switch and let's get after it. As much as you can get the juices going for a playoff game, you're going to have to go find a way to beat the Cubs on the road. No, the Giants are not passing the Padres. They're not. That's like the Padres have a 5-game lead on San Francisco and have won the tiebreaker. That's a 6-game lead on San Francisco, really 5.5. The Padres have to lose basically every series from here on out. There's 5 series left, right?
Yep.
5 series left. You have a 5-game lead on the Giants. 5.5, which means the Padres are going to have to lose every series from here on out And the Giants are going to have to win every series from here on out. And if they both do that, the Padres still win the tiebreaker, which means the Padres have to get swept one time, and the Giants are going to have to sweep a team, or vice versa. That is what needs to happen for the Giants to pass the Padres. I'm not saying it's impossible, but I'm saying it's highly unlikely. Do you guys see who the Giants? That means the Giants beat the Dodgers 3 out of 4. That means the Giants beat the Dodgers 2 out of 3. That means the Giants, come on. No. That's just dooming for no reason. That's just the dooming to cope. They're not going to pass the Padres.
Like I said it during the break, it's the most frustrating part about this whole last little stretch. This team is so much better than what they are. And it is becoming increasingly more and more and more frustrating to watch them insist on playing below their potential. There's very little trying to break out. Sure, things are frustrating right now. Saw Manny beating up a poor defenseless water cooler the other day. That's sometimes I'm not saying they don't care, but they certainly are insisting on playing below their potential.
They're not playing their best baseball. 100%. 833-288-973, 833-288-973. Dexter in Spring Valley. What's going on, man?
The way you put everything down was very eloquent, and it was very real, and I appreciate that. And I know a lot of us fans do. One of the early callers was saying, he's rattling off all those stats that kind of got you going off on that tirade, and he was saying that the Padres are Padreing, and that he's been a fan for a long time. Well, if he was really a true fan, then he would realize that this, the Padres doing really, really well, like where they're in right now, is a more recent phenomena. And, back in the day, we would kill to be able to be following a team like this and having the complaints and the concerns and stuff that we have now about this team. So that's number one. Number two, I heard from the morning show that Suarez is starting tonight. Is that true? Because if it is, then Eric Shao 2.0 is going to be taking them out. Talk about old school. And I'm afraid that they're going to lose that game too, because if you follow history, Eric Shao was a great pitcher. Well, not a great pitcher. It was a good pitcher for the Padres, but his major problem was he always put himself in a hole. He would give up like 2 or 3 runs at the beginning, and then, pitch 5 or 6 innings and be real, not lights out, but he'd be really, really good. But he's already in a hole. Back then, the Padres didn't have the shovels to dig their way out. And I'm afraid that Suarez is basically.
You're talking about Vasquez, right?
Or Vasquez,
yes.
Yeah. Vasquez.
You've made the comparison that Shao and Vasquez before. That's why I threw that in the
people
are freaking out in the YouTube
it's
chat.
history repeating itself, and I really hope that I really wish we would have traded him, because we got all these guys coming in, and you're 100% right. I don't think Suarez. Suarez should be closing anymore. He's like Ricky Vaughn in the beginning of the first Major League movie. Maybe Suarez needs glasses like Ricky Vaughn or something, because he's got no control. All he's got is the heater. Maybe that's what he needs. Maybe somebody should get him to go see an eye doctor or something.
Dexter, appreciate the phone call. Maybe we need Jobu, with the chicken bones on the bat.
No, we dropped Jobu at the end of the movie, remember?
No, that's right. Bleep you, Jobu.
I do it myself.
Christian guy downs the tequila. It's Jobu's tequila. Jobu's rum. Don't touch Jobu's rum. Maybe that's what happened. Somebody touched Jobu's rum. Padres are in a jam. Was that from Bull Durham? They had the chicken bones on the bat.
They needed a live chicken.
What are you doing?
Oh, no, that was to take the hex off his glove, was the live chicken.
They were doing the chicken bones on the bat, though, for one of them. Hey, can I have some of that? I've gotten a hit in like 2 months. Got like the cross and stuff on there. Voodoo. I don't really believe in voodoo, but if it gets me a hit. Clay in the South Bay. You're on the Braden Surprenant show. What's going on, Clay?
Gentlemen, I'm not gonna bang on the Padres too much. I think that's already been done and redone and overdone. All I'm gonna say is I'm keeping the faith. And as far as stats and all that other stuff, hey, like Uncle Teddy used to say, that was then and this is now. So, now's the time we need to buckle down and concentrate on getting W's and series wins, and let all the frustrations and anxieties and all the talking heads out there not affect us, and keep the distractions to a minimum and get some winning ball. But I know that you're anxious to know from me how I feel about my Browns.
Let's go
versus Ravens.
You got the Raven. Hey, that's a lot of people's survivor pick this week, Clay.
Well, I'm gonna break it down in Clay's way, and I might be a little biased. Okay, I am biased. But the bottom line is it's going to be a tight game, boys. Derrick Henry, historically, he doesn't rush very well against the Browns and their defense. Yeah, last year, the last 2 games that we had in the season, I believe Myles Garrett, and we had some injuries on the O-line, or on the D-line. And this year our D-line is looking pretty solid. So I'm going to go out on a limb, and I'm pretty confident that the Browns are going to win this 23-20.
Hey,
because Flacco hasn't won, but he's only played the Ravens one time ever, and that was as a Jet. So, it wasn't as a Brown. But yeah, I'm going 23-20 Browns, and Ohio State will prevail over the Ohio Bobcats by at least 26 points.
All right, Clay. Got it right here first. Clay in the South Bay. Big Ohio guy. Yeah, I got the Buckeyes against the Bobcats, probably. Buckeye fans better hope the Bobcats aren't even in that game. That might be rough for them, especially when they got the Browns against the Ravens. Clay loves Joe Flacco, dude. Find yourself a woman that looks at you the way Clay looks at Joe Flacco. I mean, he loves Joe Flacco. Joe Flacco could do no wrong. I love it. I love the passion for his quarterback. It's great. I mean, how old is Joe Flacco? Like 48? Guy's been in the league since I was born, seems like. I like the Ravens over the Browns on Sunday. But Clay backs the Browns. That was a tough game with the Bengals last week. They probably could have, if they had a competent kicker, they would have prevailed. Frank, you didn't find yourself some lady that looks at you the way Clay looks at Joe Flacco.
It would be nice.
Wouldn't that be great?
It would be. It would be great.
I think that's the perfect, that's the, you know what? You should put that in your dating profiles. Nobody have any idea what you're talking about, but it would be hilarious. You might find a Braden Surprenant show fan in there that absolutely loves it.
That's great.
That's going to be very limited though.
Yeah, that would be fantastic. Somebody who watches me make an ass of myself every single day for money and for free. That would be fantastic.
And I'm not making fun of Clay's love for Joe Flacco. I love the passion he's got for Joe. You know what? That was the best option for my quarterback right now. He didn't look that bad. I want him to look the way that New York Mike looks at it, natural casing. That's the way. That's where you got to find love. New York Mike loving that snap of the dog. That's the woman you got to find. Joe Flacco was elite, dude. Spring Valley Sean. Come on, man. That's a foul. We all know Joe Flacco's elite. I got a friend that from TCU that still says that. He draws the foul. He just always, and Joe Flacco's elite. That's basically how he ends every conversation. 833-288-0973. 833-288-0973. We got to take a quick break. Brad Escondido, Marcus, and Menifee will get you when we come back. We'll talk a little NFL football when we come back as well, and get your phone calls on the Padres and the Braden Surprenant show. Baseball coverage on 97 to the fans presented by T-Mobile. Head to T-Mobile.com and get a great deal on an iPhone 16 Pro. Talking Padres baseball with you. Obviously, it's very hard, very frustrating to watch these last couple of days. And, it definitely, this is why I don't want to harp on guys like Manny took his frustration out on the cooler this week. It's bothering him. It's bothering them. Because they know they could play at such a better level. They just haven't been able to figure it out yet offensively. They got 16 days to try to figure it out. And again, here's the good news about this. You don't have to worry about catching anybody, and you got enough of a lead on most teams that you don't have to worry about losing any spots. They can focus on themselves. That's kind of a good thing. When you can sit there and focus on yourself and just be like, collectively, all right, we got to go play our best version of baseball and take it a day at a time for these next 16 days, that could really lead to the Padres putting together a good stretch. Again, they still have a couple of more. They got a week or two to get things right because they want to be playing their best baseball going in October. But they're running out of time to start that process. Good news on Xander Bogaerts. Sounds like he's resumed baseball activities, whatever that means. I guess he can't run yet, but he could throw and stuff like that.
There was video of him yesterday. He was doing like some shuffles in the outfield around cones and stuff. So he is moving, but I don't think he's doing like full sprints or anything like that. Not that I saw.
I don't think, he's going to have to work his way up to it. So hopefully they get that. Hopefully Xander can come back for the playoffs. There might be a little spark that they might need. 833-288-973, 833-288-973. Noon lunchtime hour. You eating Pop-Tarts over there?
It depends. Do you want some?
No, I don't want.
Then yes, I am eating Pop. Well, I was eating Pop-Tarts.
What flavor did you have?
Basic cinnamon.
Cinnamon?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I like the cinnamon too much. I wouldn't like that one.
It depends. Sometimes they're better warm.
What's the classic Pop-Tart?
Cinnamon is
really?
I believe it is.
I feel like when I think of a Pop-Tart, I think of the strawberry one.
Yeah, that is.
I do like. So they usually like the OG
one.
boxes were like cinnamon and the strawberry box.
No, I did not stack up on icebreakers. Thank you, Go Aztecs.
You know what would go well with the Pop-Tarts?
My tortilla chips would be nice.
Oi! There you go. I brought the tortilla chips. It wasn't the Cowboys logo that I thought it was. Oh, he's going to pop these open right now. Might as well. It wasn't the Cowboys logo. It's worse for Frank. It's the NFL logo, his favorite league.
Thank you for my nice bag of whoever wants to give us money. They could be Tostitos. They could be Mission. I don't know. Just drop us a line. 833-288-0973. If you want to sponsor the bag of tortilla chips I'm currently devouring, give us a line. Give us a ring.
Yeah, you need salsa for that? No, he's macking on the tortilla chips.
I'm fine with it.
Yeah, all right.
Plenty salty too, which makes them even better.
That's great. That's awesome. What is the I want to go back to the Pop-Tarts for a second. We haven't talked Pop-Tarts before. How many flavors of Pop-Tarts are there?
Oh God. They're coming out with even more too.
God, that bag is loud. I can see why, like, if you're this is like if you go to the movies and you have like eating something out of a bag is
Sorry about that.
A bag of tortilla chips with a Braden Surprenant show shirt. Okay. Some of them are like way too fancy. Like they had like 15 Pop-Tart flavors ranked worst to best. Frosted banana bread. Why is that a flavor?
There are over 24 standard flavors.
24? That's all the ones they've made?
Standard flavors.
I prefer the standard flavors.
But there are limited editions such as frosted blueberry, frosted brown sugar cinnamon. That's the one I have.
24 standard.
Cookies and cream, s'mores, raspberry. So the standard flavors are blueberry,
Pop-Tart bowl.
Blueberry, brown sugar, cinnamon. Those are my favorite.
Oh, it says
cherry, chocolate chip,
chocolate fudge,
confetti cupcake. Ooh, there you go.
Never had that one.
Cookies and cream, grape, hot fudge sundae, strawberry, wild berry.
They have Boston cream donut as a standard Pop-Tart flavor?
A specialty. That's a specialty flavor. Snickerdoodle's another one. There's one
AI
for.
is killing me on this. Come
yeah,
on.
I know. We're looking at the same thing.
Well, how's this one says 22 standard flavors?
Collaboration flavors like Girl Scout Thin Mints and coconut caramel.
Wouldn't that just be like a mint flavor, like a chocolate mint?
Sponsored by the Girl Scouts.
Harvest Strawberry is a Costco exclusive Pop-Tart.
All right, so poptarts.com. New flavors.
I don't need new flavors. I want the traditional flavors.
Frosted Apple Jacks is actually pretty. I want that one.
Do you have to order these online?
No, I'm sure you can find
I just
them.
love how they have all the Pop-Tart mascots now.
Boston Cream Donut, Cherry Pop-Tart,
Frosted strawberry.
frosted chocolate chip.
There's some of these flavors that are kind of ridiculous. Frosted strawberry milkshake. You make strawberry ones, and you make, like, I don't know, vanilla. Why would you need a strawberry milkshake flavor?
I don't know, man.
Frosted Boston cream donut. That means they got the cream in the Pop-Tart?
Is there an A1 flavored Pop-Tart?
That's
release.
disgusting.
I love A1 steak sauce, but for God's sake, man.
All right, if I had to pick, strawberry is a classic. I love the strawberry one. Not really a fan of the wild berry.
The cinnamon roll one isn't that bad.
Simply Pop-Tarts. Wow, the healthy people. Are you psychotic if you have an unfrosted Pop-Tart, even though it's a kind of a traditional one?
No.
Do you trust somebody that eats only unfrosted Pop-Tarts? What's your level of trust for that person?
Fine.
Really?
And I'm the same way. I could go toasted or untoasted too. Like I would prefer if I have the time and if I have a toaster around,
A toasted
I'll pop it in there.
Pop-Tart plays. I'm saying it plays. I think it plays.
Most of the time, I'm just like today. I'm late and rushing out the door, so I just grabbed it.
Okay. Why is chocolatey chip pancake a Pop-Tart? What's the pancake flavor? Why do you need why can't you just have a chocolate chip Pop-Tart? What is added on the pancake flavor?
I'm so interested in seeing the Boston cream donut one. That one to me is interesting.
I like a good Boston cream. Say that on the round table, and Paul and Woods just start giggling like children.
I couldn't imagine why.
Well, they talked about
Stop.
Paul talked about the fact that he had the chocolate bar, and sometimes he gets a surprise.
Oh God.
That he doesn't like. Isn't that what a cougar tail is at BYU? Don't they have the cougar tails?
I don't know.
Scratch the cougar likes his deer and elk Pop-Tarts. Well, he is a cougar, so that makes sense. Got him. Frank is on the floor.
Attaboy, Scratch. Attaboy.
That was funny, and then there was another funny comment I had. Oh, the Le Glizzy.
Yeah.
That was a great comment. Hot Fudge Sundae is pretty money. That is a different level of sugar right there. Definitely like strawberry. Blueberry out. Brown sugar, cinnamon.
What's the point of the pastry bites, though?
You could pretend like you're being healthier, like you're not eating as much.
No, but I mean, like a Pop-Tart is pretty much it's a bite. It's a handheld gimmick. Like,
don't you want like mini versions of them?
No,
they're like Pop-Tart cupcakes. They're just like pop in your mouth. Boston cream donut have chocolate chip cookie dough sounds devastatingly good. The cookies and cream is great. I'd prefer a frosted Pop-Tart over an unfrosted Pop-Tart for sure.
Yeah, I would as well.
Frank just admitted guilt with the green light unfrosted. Ah, Adam just killed the whole drill.
Adam.
That's a foul. Foul in the chat.
He draws the foul.
It's two. It's two for the chat now.
2 for the chat.
And again, remember, it is a shortened show today, so you guys are really impressive right now.
Yeah, we only got like an hour and a half left. 833-288-0973, 833-288-0973. Brad Escondido, what's going on, man?
Gentlemen, you guys are killing me on Pop-Tarts. It's a nutritional value of a Slim Jim. Come on, boys.
Hey, Slim Jim's got protein at least. I don't know about Pop-Tarts.
It's called a Slim Jim for a reason.
There's a reason why. It's not a fat Jim.
All right, never mind. All right. You guys are killing me, man. Seriously. There's a lot of sport in Pop-Tarts. I know that. Figure that out. Okay.
Pop-Tart.
Hey, question for you. The Padres. Big play last night. 2 guys on no outs. Merrill bunting to first. Cronenworth did that a month ago. You got to bunt it to third. and they got second and third one out. That is critical. And no one talks about it. Big play yesterday. You got to do that. And secondly, Arraez in second, makes contact. I know, Braden, I just saw your heartbeat go up. Relax. The guy makes contact. That's why he's there.
Yeah, but if he makes contact, he gets out all the time. Does it really matter? I mean, I know he makes contact. He makes contact on a lot of pitches he shouldn't be making contact with. I mean, contact only gets you so far. I need hits. If you're going to make contact, great, but, like, make it productive. Like, just putting the ball in play is got to put the ball in play with a little bit of damage, Frank. Don't you?
Yeah.
I know he makes contact, but, like,
it's not enough to just hit the thing. You got to hit it where people aren't.
Hit it where they ain't, boys. Marcus and Menifee, what's going on, man?
Hey, guys. Long time no talk.
Long time no talk.
Been
What do you
out
got
on
for
injury.
us? That's right.
I'm missing you guys. Let's see. Oh, my gosh. That Pop-Tart list is just making me gross. I'm starting to feel nauseous. Classics. The classics. It's only about brown cinnamon and strawberry. Toasted, untoasted. And I love my wife dearly, and she eats the unfrosted stuff, but she will not judge me for the frosted. It doesn't matter.
Gotcha.
Anyways, I'm skipping over the Padres. You've said it all. No need to go into. Doesn't need to be said anymore. But I do want to give a shout out because it is today the anniversary of 9/11. Give a shout out to the families and loved ones. All I got, guys. Have a good day.
I appreciate that, Marcus. I mean, that is something that obviously is a lot for a lot of people today. And I remember where I was when that happened. And the older we get, there's just a lot of kids and now in college and high school. And I mean, actually, I think everybody in college now and younger were not alive for that tragedy. And, it's the one girl in my class at TCU, her dad was on one of the flights that went down in Shanksville. Back on 9/11. And, it's just a lot of people that it's a big, big moment in our history. And so obviously every year where you think about this day and where you were and when it happened, and I will never forget where I was. I mean, I was only in first grade when it happened, but everybody's got their own story about that particular day in the United States. And that sense of kind of coming together as a country right after the fact was pretty cool and something that we haven't had in a long time. At least in being together and united as a country. So it's a tough day for a lot of people today and something that you should never forget as an American about what happened on this day in 2001. And obviously all of our thoughts and prayers with everybody in those families that were affected. And as we try to, never forget that day on September 11th in 2001. We need to take a quick break. Braden Surprenant show when we come back. Natural casings are back. It'll never not be funny. Do you have a question for the Midday Sports Standoff today?
I do have a question for the Midday Sports Standoff today.
This is one that's going to be just like, you can't find this one. You threw it on the sheet again, but now I know. That's going to be fun. 833-288-0973, 833-288-0973. We get back to your phone calls, but also if you think you can take me down in sports beer knowledge, you can qualify for a chance to win our grand prize, a trip to see the Eagles at Sphere Las Vegas, including 2 tickets to the show on January 30th, a 2-night stay at the Venetian Resort Las Vegas, a Vibe VIP package, and $100 gift card, or gas card, sorry. The Eagles have added 2026 shows to the brand's residency at Sphere in Las Vegas on Friday, January 23rd, Saturday, January 24th, Friday, January 30th, and Saturday, January 31st. The residency now features a total of 48 shows from September 20th, 2025 through Saturday, January 31st, 2026. Tickets at Ticketmaster.com. Rod needs to call in. He thinks he could take me down in the the beer question you have today. I don't know if he's expecting it to be the question that he thinks it's gonna be. Let's get back to the phones. Vince in San Marcos here on the Braden Surprenant Show. What's going on, Vince? Vince, are you there? Here you go. Eric in Chula Vista. What's up, brother?
What's up, fellas? How you doing?
I'm doing well, man. What do you got for us today?
Good. Couple of things. I love the food talk. I remember chiming in on the ketchup on the tacos a couple of months ago, and I think it is psychotic if you don't have frosting on your Pop-Tart. So
perfect. I'm glad we're in agreement on that.
Yeah. So one thing on the Padres is their hitting coach. Who is that? Victor Rodriguez.
Yeah.
It seems like everybody was all high and mighty at the start of the year, and everybody's great, and this and that and the other, and it really seems like he's turning into these players into something that they're not. I mean, he's turning them into line drives hitters. Manny's a bomber. Tatis is a bomber. Sheets is a bomber. I mean, we got a lot of home run hitters on our team, and what are we, last in the league, and they're down near the bottom on home runs? It's like, let these guys play their games, and I mean, it always worked before with these guys, and now all of a sudden, it seems like their hands are tied and they're hamstrung, and they just can't, it's almost like you can't stretch your legs, so I don't know. That's all I got. Have a good one. See you guys.
Appreciate the phone call, Eric. It's been tough with the offense this year. It's just been really tough for the offense this year, especially in the second half. And the thing is, they've shown so many bright spots of what they can be, and they're just not playing at that level right now. And again, I don't think it's a lack of effort. I mean, the effort is there. It's not a lack of effort. It just seems like it's just, it's a long season. They got to try to get through. This is like their dog days of summer. Is that for the game, or is that for the? Okay, so that's for the game. All right. Well, we're about ready for it anyway. We might as well get to it. Midday Sports Standoff.
Welcome to Midday Sports Standoff on the Braden Surprenant Show.
I can't believe what I'm seeing right now.
The ultimate head-to-head battle where sports knowledge and quick thinking collide.
No, he's no good. Are you kidding me?
Contestants will go toe-to-toe with Braden in a sports trivia deal where every correct answer brings them closer to victory.
Down the sideline! Wow! Unbelievable!
But 3 strikes and it's game over.
This is not Detroit, man. This is the Super Bowl.
Can you outsmart Braden? The Midday Sports Standoff starts now.
All right, Frank, who's playing today?
Today, we have Kyle in San Diego. Kyle, how are you doing today, bud?
Doing great, guys. How you doing?
Good. So today, as Braden alluded to, I hope you know your alcoholic beverages because we are going
stadiums.
Because we are going for the top 10 most expensive beers in the NFL. So which team's beer prices, top 10 most expensive beers per team, okay?
Got it.
Okay.
You got the first guess.
Los Angeles Rams.
The Rams are charging $14 a beer. Braden.
LA Chargers.
The Chargers are also charging $14 a beer.
There you go. They don't want to charge 15. They got extra rent to pay for.
Kyle.
San Francisco 49ers.
San Francisco 49ers are also charging $14 for beer.
Where's that on the list?
That is number 4. They're all tied for number 4 on the list.
What about the Raiders?
The Raiders have the second most expensive beer in the NFL at $14.99.
Still cheaper than any Vegas hotel.
Kyle.
Arizona Cardinals.
No, the Cardinals' average beer price is only $8.30.
Wow, Zonies.
They're way down there.
They're way down there.
Braden.
What about the New York Jetropolitans? We gotta have expensive beer.
They are at $13 a beer. Kyle.
I'm going to go with the New York Jets then. Oh, wait, sorry. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I kind of figured. Yep, they are also at $13 a beer.
All right, how many we got left?
4 left.
New England Patriots. It's a place that's expensive.
New England Patriots are at $8.58 a beer.
Wow, Foxborough.
So you guys are tied again. Kyle.
We go to the Seahawks.
Really?
Seattle Seahawks are at $9.71 a beer. Braden.
Okay. There's no way it's Buffalo. Dallas. Jerry's got to be expensive. Really?
The Cowboys are also at $9.71 a beer.
They're also a Miller
Kyle.
Coors place.
Miami Dolphins.
Miami
Yes.
Dolphins are the last in the top 10 at $12 a beer. Braden, you're on 2 strikes, good man.
Denver Broncos.
Sir, you were on 3 strikes.
Bummer.
So, Kyle, you have won for today. Just hang on the line. We'll get your information during the break. Denver is at $8.30 a beer.
Who's the most expensive beer?
The most expensive beer price is $16.49 a beer, which is $1.50 more expensive than the Raiders.
Who is it?
It's the Washington Commanders.
Washington. That's ridiculous.
So the Commanders are number 1, Vegas 2. The Bucks are number 3 at $14.25 a beer.
The Bucks because they're in Florida.
Then at $14 a beer, it's San Francisco and the 2 teams in LA. 13 is the Giants and Jets. $12.79 is the Texans. And then the Dolphins round out the top 10 at $12. Any other team you would like to learn about as far as beer prices are concerned?
Who is the cheapest?
The Cincinnati Bengals at $6.80 a beer.
There's no way they're charging $6.80 for a beer. There's no way. It's got to be like a 12-ounce can. That's what that has to be.
Probably.
Like, there's no way like $6.80 a beer. Is that incorporating $5 beer night? I think it's for a Busch Light, dude. I swear to God. When I was in Cincinnati for the Reds game, they had dollar hot dog night, $2 something, and then $3 beers, and the $3 beers were only Busch Lights.
Well, it'll also
Busch Light
make,
or Bud Light.
It'll also make Clay happy to know that the Browns are actually the second cheapest beer at $7.15.
There you go. That doesn't help him that he lives here, but you know
No,
what?
it doesn't. But it's nice to know that your team is not gouging people like the Giants, Jets, or Cardinals, or Chargers, or Commanders.
I'll be in Nashville this weekend. Every time I get buy drinks there, it's like
$10.73. $10.73 on average.
That's not too bad. Most of the time when I pay at bar tab in Nashville, I go, "This is wrong. There's no way. There's no way. You have not charged me enough. There's no way." That's how much? That's like going to Knoxville, dude. I went to Knoxville a couple times when my brother was in college. I mean, the beer tabs were like ridiculous. They were so ridiculous. You'd go get like a schooner of beer, and it would be like $5. I was like, I get that at Mutt Lynch's on the beach up in Newport. It's like my left hand. I think that was like one time we maybe I could check the prices somewhere, but I just remember the beer in Nashville bars were like it's like less than $5 a bottle.
Is there any other team you're interested in?
Not really.
Okay, well there you go.
Do you have teams that you're interested in telling us what their beer prices are?
I've got them all.
We've said
so
almost every single team.
I've got them all. If you're interested, that's
yeah.
it.
Tell me what the Minnesota Vikings average beer price is.
$8.05.
Do they sell 805s there? They should. There's a lot of expensive just beers out there. I just, it's expensive to go to games. Expensive to go to games.
Yes, it is.
833-288-0973, 833-288-0973. We're going to have some good college football on this weekend.
Which my mother's already complaining about, by the way.
Why is she complaining?
Because she said some of these matchups are impossible to choose. Both teams' costumes are so god-awful ugly.
All right, which ones are the awful ugly ones?
Oh, I didn't get that far to ask yet.
Well, you should, because she's kicking your ass in picks. So you should
Shut up,
probably
man.
start learning the ways of how to pick these games properly. I tell you what, there's a lot of teams on here that have yellow pants, so we'll see. What is her saying again? No serious man goes to work wearing yellow pants?
You don't wear yellow pants to work. So if you wear yellow pants, you're bound to lose.
Okay. Well, take a look at some of the games we're picking here this week.
Well, why do that? We're going to do it with Skylar the next time.
I'm not picking. Georgia Tech's got yellow pants.
Oh.
Who else has yellow pants? What about orange pants?
I don't know. Honestly.
Okay.
Do khakis count as yellow?
No, that would be khaki. The Pitt Panthers could probably have yellow pants,
could wear yellow pants.
But so could West Virginia.
Exactly, which is why I think that's one of the games she's having a problem with.
Because they both look ridiculous.
LSU, she's probably going to pick against LSU.
Yeah, they have yellow pants. You might be able to make up some ground on that because there's no way Florida goes to the swamp and wins.
Minnesota Cal could
Or
possibly
Baton Rouge
both wear yellow pants.
Notre Dame's got gold pants. Does that count?
I
don't know if that counted because they were winning last year and your mom, it wasn't filling out your deal. Gold pants don't count?
Adam, I'm just letting you know right now that she fully expects a spot on the show if she wins this pick. If these picks, by the way,
she's gonna replace you on the show.
That's what she's expecting.
I think a good question by Jake Waters, our resident Michigan fan. Maize considered yellow, or is it considered maize?
No, maize is a thing you have to walk through and try to find the exit.
No, that would be a corn maze, which I guess would technically be maize in general. Maize is the official color of the Wolverines. So would you consider that yellow? What if I wore maize pants to work? What if I wore maize pants to work? Would I take work seriously?
Yellow is yellow. It doesn't matter what
maize is.
It doesn't matter if it's like corn dust yellow. It doesn't matter.
Well, she's in trouble though, also with the Minnesota Golden Gophers and the California Golden Bears. Yeah. She was complaining about the Wildcat matchup.
Yes, she was.
Can't be saying go Cats on Friday.
No, you can't.
Maize. That is such a Michigan thing. Oh, you got the blue and yellow. It's maize, actually. It's maize.
Excuse me, sir. It's actually maize.
That sounds like most people that went to Michigan. I'm sorry. I couldn't help it.
Yes.
Only one team to beat Michigan in those 2 years where they were raining terror and cheating everywhere. One team did it. Only one team. They're not yellow. They're purple. Only one team did it. I just,
And honestly,
hang
because they're purple, it's probably why she'll pick Kansas State
over Arizona.
Yes.
Arizona and K-State played against each other on a Friday last year at K-State, and it didn't count as a conference game. It was a non-conference conference game because they didn't want to change it.
Cool.
So it was a non-conference game, so it didn't count in the standings. Arizona got worked. I'm not a big believer in Kansas State right now after the performances they have had, and they're 1-2.
Save the analysis for the next segment when Skylar's here.
I love when Wilbur joins our show. It's great. He's got to just change his name to Wilbur on there. Wilbur the Wildcat. Wilbur T. Wildcat. I love it. Bear Down, Arizona. That's right. Frogs never got harbawed. Better believe it. Okay, that's a foul on vinyl solution, too.
Oh, no.
What the...
He draws the foul.
Why do we care? I don't care. Skylar joins us when we come back into the college picks of the week. Later on in the hour, we'll get into some fantasy football with Eddie Brown, talk about tonight's game, Padres Rockies, and also Commanders Packers. All in the last hour of the show. Braden Surprenant Show. 97 to the Fan.
Do what?
Final hour of the Braden Surprenant Show on a Thursday. Get a lot of more football in on Thursdays, which starts with college football. College football on 97.3 The Fan. College football talk on 97.3 The Fan, presented by Paramount Plus. Sylvester Stallone is back in the original hit series Tulsa King. This season, Dwight faces his most dangerous adversaries yet, forcing him to fight for everything he's built and to protect his empire. Stream the new season of Tulsa King on Sunday, September 21st, exclusively on Paramount Plus. We have welcomed in the queen of college football. Skylar joins us today, again, every Thursday, to talk some college football. A lot better for Skylar on a Thursday following a Bama dominating win the week before. How are we feeling today?
Yeah, well, I think that's making up for my record from this past weekend. So I'll take that as the win, but I've got some improving to do. So
it's funny. The guy in the chat that I said should just change his name to Wilbur apparently was Wilbur.
There you go.
For 4 years.
See that?
That's awesome. I still have unequal biceps to prove it. I love it. We got Wilbur as a fan of the show. It's great. Speaking of Wilbur, let's get to today's picks, Frank.
All righty. So the first of the games, we have, again, 10 games as normal, but the first of which is going to take place on Friday. The Kansas State Wildcats are in Arizona to take on the Wildcats. Kansas State is a 1.5-point favorite. This will be a 6 p.m. game on Fox. Skylar, your go.
Willie the Wildcat or Wilbur the Wildcat, Skylar?
Well, I don't know, K-State, I think, was setting themselves up for a much more successful season, and it's been a little bit of a disappointment. They're already 1-2, so I don't think they have the momentum they need to go into Arizona and beat the Wildcats. So I'm gonna go Willie the Wildcats here.
You're going to Kansas State?
No.
Wilbur is Arizona's Wildcat.
Wilbur
the Wildcat. Wilbur and Wilma are the Wildcat mascots. I am also going Wilbur the Wildcat, plus 1.5. The fact that their dog's at home is interesting. I think Kansas State has looked very poor so far this season. They already lost to Iowa State. Army beat them last week, which was rough. And even their win was way too close of a victory against an inferior opponent. Kansas State's got a lot of problems. Arizona looked pretty good in their first 2 games of the season. They dominated Hawaii after Hawaii looked good in their first game. So I'm going to the Arizona Wildcats. K-State dominated the Wildcats last season in Manhattan in a non-conference conference game. But I got Arizona at home in Tucson.
I'm going to go with Arizona as well. Avery Johnson's been a little bit worse on the road than he has been at home. I have a feeling that Arizona will come out on top. Braden, off to Saturday, the Clemson Tigers, 3.5-point favorites at Georgia Tech. This will be a 9 a.m. game on my favorite station. Do the Yellow Jackets sting the Tigers?
Well, I have to say, once the Arizona Wildcats win, they're party at Dirtbags after the fact. Go get yourself a Dirt Burger in Tucson, Arizona. Okay, moving on. Clemson and Georgia Tech. I think Clemson's on upset alert right here. I know they're only a 3.5-point favorite. Georgia Tech looked really good against Colorado. Georgia Tech's looked good so far this season. I think they can keep this game close. If they lose, it's going to be less than a field goal. But I think Georgia Tech can win this game in Atlanta. I'll take the Yellow Jackets. Even with their yellow pants.
Even with the yellow pants. Yeah, I was going to say, I think this could be a really sneaky game for Clemson because they didn't look very good last week at all. I think they kind of got it together in the end. But if they kind of mimic that performance heading into this weekend, I'm not sure that they'll stand a chance. So I've got to take the Yellow Jackets on this matchup here.
I am going to go with Clemson on this game. And the reason being...
Clemson?
That's what I said.
You got to add a P there.
That's what I said. Clemson.
Last
week, Georgia Tech's quarterback got hurt. So if he does play, he sat out the rest of the game. So if he does play, he's going to be a little bit more limited in what he can do. So with that, I'm going to go with Clemson. Next one.
Travis Gundy's Wisconsin Badgers.
Yeah. Wisconsin. 2-0 going to Alabama to take on the Crimson Tide. Tide favored by 21.5. This is also a 9 a.m. game on ABC. Skylar.
That line just moved to 20.5.
Okay,
We'll go
so
to 20.5.
So it's 20.5 now. Skylar, who do you got?
I have to tell you, I don't think people are very excited for this game because I have season tickets and they have yet to sell for this weekend, which has never happened to me before. So it seems that people aren't very excited for this, but Alabama's looking to turn their season around, and we saw a lot of positive momentum last weekend. We saw all three quarterbacks play. We saw the run game step up. The defense looked a lot better. I know it was not against as strong of an opponent, but I'm still excited to see what they can do. And I'm going to take my team to cover the spread at home against Wisconsin.
I'll take Alabama minus 20.5. I think Wisconsin's bad. Even though they're 2-0. They beat Mid-Tennessee State, sick, and they beat Miami of Ohio. Cool. They're not going to Alabama and making that game close. I will take Alabama, even though everybody wants Kalen DeBoer fired.
I'm good, including a woman who said if she won the lottery, she would pay
Kalen DeBoer to go away.
And the athletic director.
Yes.
She's going to pay both of their contracts and get them out of there.
I have to stay with my Big Ten allegiance. I'm going with Wisconsin in this game. Not to win, but to
cover the
spread. Braden, we just saw them last week. Wazoo State taking on North Texas. North Texas favored by 6.5 at home. This will be a game on ESPN U at 12:30. Braden, who do you got?
Line just moved to 5.5, so we'll do the 5.5 pick. I like UNT at home. I think UNT is a pretty good team. I know Wazoo is 2-0. They beat up on Idaho, who's not very good, and then they went and beat an Aztec team that we had our head scratching on all of them. As for UNT, they hammered Lamar. They beat Western Michigan 33-30. I like North Texas at home in Denton, Texas. Plus, Washington State thinks they're playing in Odessa based on their graphic that they put. It's not that deserty in Denton, Texas.
Yes.
I'll take the UNT mean green.
Skylar?
I think the Cougars had us all fooled last week. I mean, we were all pretty confident that the Aztecs were going to be able to go up there and beat them. And obviously that wasn't even close to the case. So I think the Cougars have a lot of momentum, and I know they're heading on a road game here, but I think carrying that momentum into this weekend, I think they have a chance to go in and upset North Texas here.
Braden, you're going to be the lone wolf on this one. I'm going with Wazoo State as well. The big game, the biggest game of the week, the college football game of the week.
The backyard brawl?
Yes. The number 6 Georgia Bulldogs, 3.5-point favorites at number 15 Tennessee. This will be a 12:30 kick on ABC. Skylar, who do you got?
Yeah, this is 100% the game of the week. And I think it could really go either way depending on how and who kind of shows up on each side. I would say they're pretty well evenly matched, but I'm going to give the slight edge to Georgia. I think Kirby's bringing in the stronger defense of the two, and I think that's really going to help them win and cover here. So I'm going to take Georgia.
I'm going to be watching this game in Tennessee. We haven't decided if we wanted to go out there. Tickets have dropped to $330 to get in the building.
Hey, there you go.
Wow.
I'll sell you my Alabama tickets for $15.
No, thank you. I'm trying to sell my TCU Abilene Christian tickets as we speak. That game sold out. Nobody's buying the tickets yet, so fingers crossed. If those tickets sell, maybe I'll use the money to buy Tennessee, Georgia tickets and then go on a payment plan for the next 18 years to try to get into the building. I'm sure I'll be watching that at a Tennessee Watch Bar in Nashville. I'll be rooting on the Vols, but just for the sake of my picks here, I'm going to take Georgia minus 3.5. I think Georgia would. As long as I've been a Tennessee fan, which is since my brother has attended Tennessee for the last 4 or 5 years, they haven't really been close to beating Georgia. So I'd love to see the upset. I don't think it's going to happen. I will sacrifice one of my picks for the betterment of the Vols. I will take Georgia minus 3.5.
I believe it's been the last 8 consecutive years that Georgia has beaten Tennessee. I think it snaps this time around.
You got
I'm
the
going
Vols.
Tennessee.
Remember, the last time Tennessee hosted College Game Day, they beat Alabama for the first time in 20-something years. They might sing Dixieland Delight at the end of the game. We'll see.
By the way, to the Michigan chatter, my mom said yellow is yellow. It doesn't matter. Like I said she would. Next game.
Did you see Gonzo's text on there?
No.
He was like, they're not the Yellow Jackets, they're the Maize Jackets.
Gotcha. Who went first last time? I believe it was
Skylar did.
Skylar went first. Okay, so Braden, you're first. Pitt versus West Virginia. Pitt is 2-0. West Virginia is 1-1.
That's now a 7.5-point spread for the Panthers.
At least you're updated on this, so I have to keep changing it. 12:30 kickoff on Espen. Braden, who do you got?
I think the Mountaineers lose at home. I think it's close because it's the backyard brawl. West Virginia looked awful against Ohio last week on the road. I think they get Pittsburgh in a close one in a rivalry game. I will take them plus 7.5. Pittsburgh wins by a field goal.
Yeah, I actually like Pitt to cover on this one. I know it's a rivalry game, and I think West Virginia is typically the winner in this matchup. I think they've won the last 3 or 4, but I believe they're out. They're starting running back, and I think their offense is going to be maybe a little lackluster. So I like Pitt to cover on this one.
Yep, I am going to go with Pitt as well. Fun fact. West Virginia is 115th ranked out of the 132 in third down conversions, only converting at a .292.
All I know is when I went to West Virginia with the team, they chanted "Eat bleep Pitt" the entire time, and they hadn't played Pitt in 20 years or whatever it was. So that's how much they hate Pitt out there at West Virginia.
There you go. Second best game of the week, and probably the game that will make CW's bankroll this year.
You mean Boise State, Utah State's not going to do it for him? Moving on.
You said it, not me. Number 18, South Florida, taking on number 5, Miami Hurricanes. Both teams are at 2-0. 17.5-point spread. Skylar, 130 on the CW. Who do we have?
Yeah, I'm excited about this game. I think South Florida has a lot of momentum right now, and I think they might be a little underestimated going in against Miami, and I think that might hurt Miami. So I think that the Bulls are going to be able to keep it close here. I think Miami is the stronger of the two teams, but I think sometimes when you go in knowing that you're playing a lesser opponent, you don't show up the way that you need to, and I kind of foresee that happening. So I want to take the Bulls.
I'll take South Florida plus 17.5. I do think this is where the magic might end for South Florida. I mean, for them to beat Boise State and then Florida and then Miami to start the season would be very impressive. They could be that team of destiny. We'll see. I think they lose within one possession. I think they give Miami all they can handle, though.
Only the second time on the picks today that we are all in agreement. I'm going with USF as well to cover.
Miami's definitely going to destroy them, though.
Yep. That's usually how that works.
Sounds good.
Speaking of getting destroyed, the Florida Gators 1-1 begin their gauntlet against the number 3 LSU Tigers. 7.5-point spread here. 4:30 kick on ABC. Braden, I believe this is you first.
I'll take the Bayou Bengals minus 7.5. I think Florida's about to get their head coach fired. They're about to go through a rough patch. They couldn't handle USF at home. That was supposed to be one of their easier games this year. The fact that they couldn't do that, I highly doubt they go to Baton Rouge and then beat LSU, let alone make it close.
Skylar?
Well, this might be a little bit of a crazy pick, but I'm going to go for it here because historically this matchup is always wild. These two go head to head. They have some shootout games. I think I remember one going to like 7 overtimes or something crazy. So just based on like historically how they play each other, I think that Florida is going to do everything that they possibly can to keep this one close. So I'm going to take the Gators.
I'm going to go with LSU, GEAUX Tigers on this one.
No Tigers.
Texas A&M, number 16, Texas A&M Aggies at number 8, Notre Dame. The Fighting Irish favored by 6.5. They have not played since the opening week loss against Miami. A 4:30 kick on NBC.
Notre Dame got them last year.
Yeah, so this is Skylar, you're up here.
Yeah, so Notre Dame's coming off of a bye, which I think is going to be huge for them. They're going to be rested, and I think that they're feeling a little down because they have their loss against Miami. So I think coming off that loss and then being able to rest and have this bye is going to be huge for them, and they really need to like come in and dominate. So I'm going to take Notre Dame for a complete win here.
I like Notre Dame. Yeah. I don't like Texas A&M on the road. Notre Dame went down to College Station and beat Texas A&M last year. I think they do it again this year at home. I like the Fighting Irish, and I agree with Skyler. The 2 weeks to prepare for Texas A&M, I think, will be a major factor. A&M has looked okay against UTSA and Utah State. I mean, they haven't looked that dominant. Maybe it starts their November collapse a little bit early in September.
I like Notre Dame to win the game. I think A&M is going to keep it close. I'm going to pick Texas A&M. Last one, Braden. Minnesota Golden Gophers at 2.5-point favorites against the Cal Golden Bears, also at 2-0. This will be a 7:30 kick on ESPN. Braden, who do you got?
I like Cal in this game. I think Cal's pretty good this year. I think Cal has done very well so far in their first couple of games. Oregon State's not good, neither is Texas Southern, but I like the way Cal's been able to put up points. I like them at home. It's a late-night game for Minnesota. I mean, that's a 9:30 local time kick for the Minnesota Golden Gophers. It's tough to go to the West Coast and play late in a game. Minnesota's coming off a win against Northwestern State. Nothing to really write home about. They played Buffalo. I like Cal in this one to not only cover the 2.5 points that they are getting, but also win the game outright over Minnesota.
Skyler?
Yeah, I agree with Braden. I think the teams are pretty evenly matched, but with Minnesota having to travel cross country and then have that late night Pacific time game, I think really just gives Cal the edge. I think they're going to definitely be able to win and definitely cover such a small spread. So I have to go with Cal.
Well, picks are in, boys. I'm taking Cal as well. The picks are in my god-awful handwriting because I'm writing on my lap.
Nobody can see that.
Yeah,
are you
it doesn't
trying to
matter
prove
anyway.
something, Frank? Is somebody calling you out for not being honest?
I don't
No,
know.
I was just being more theatrical about
He
it
went
this week.
3-7 and 4-6.
I'm just being more theatrical about it this week.
Okay,
That's it.
fair.
I like it.
Picks are in.
Should be a fun weekend of
Ready to
college
go.
football. There's a lot of other great games out there. Again, college football starts tonight. We have a game tonight at 4:30 on ESPN. It's a game in North Carolina. NC State at Wake Forest. NC State's favored by 7.5. It will be in Winston-Salem, North Carolina, home of the Wake Forest Demon Deacons. And then Friday, we have 5 games. K-State, Arizona, Indiana State, Indiana, Colgate, Syracuse, Colorado, Houston, New Mexico, and UCLA. And before a full Saturday slate. A lot of sports on tonight. We got the NFL, we got college football, and of course we got the Padres. When we come back, we will talk more Padres baseball, talk a little bit about the NFL game tonight, and at 1:35, Eddie Brown will join us to get you ready for fantasy football for this weekend. Final hour of the Braden Surprenant Show continues on 97 through the Fan. I agree with Jake Waters in the chat. Friday should be for high school football only. I've had that debate multiple times. I hate college game. Whoa, what's going on? There we go. College football on a Friday is a travesty. There should be no reason for college football to be on a Friday. I think it's terrible from multiple platforms. Maybe I'm a little biased for the high school football stuff, but I would much rather be at a high school game on a Friday night than tune into a college game. I hate college games on Friday. Hate them on Fridays. I don't really like Thursday night football too much. If I had to pick between the games, right? I'd rather have two Monday night games than a Thursday night game in the NFL. Tonight's Thursday night game is not bad. Commanders and Packers is a pretty good Thursday night game. Packers are favored by 3.5 tonight. But again, Friday night should be for high school football. I think it's terrible for recruiting. I think it's terrible for, for both the school and the player. I mean, all of these players are playing on Friday nights. They can't go to, that's one less week that you can have players at your facility for a game. Hosting a Friday night game is terrible because you're not going to get any kids to go to your game. You're not going to get a lot of people to go to your games either. I mean, aside from like the big schools maybe getting some of their students to go, it's still a Friday night. Like on Friday nights, college kids are not, they're going out. Like San Diego State has that problem on Saturday nights. But like Friday night football, like the people, like the kids in Tucson, I'm going to tell you right now, Kansas State, Arizona, 6 o'clock on a Friday in Tucson, Arizona. The students will be gone at halftime because they'll be getting ready to go to house parties. They'll be getting ready to go to frat parties. They'll be getting ready to go to bars out on 12th Street, out on University. I mean, that's what that's going to be about. They're not going to be at the game. I mean, it's bad for attendance. It's bad for, getting high school players to go watch your events. It's bad for recruiting. I hate Friday night college games. How many people, let's ask, what about this question? There will be some sickos that watch New Mexico, UCLA on the Big Ten Network on 7 o'clock on Friday. How many people, Frank, are showing up to Pasadena on Friday at 7 o'clock in LA for New Mexico, UCLA? 10?
Yeah. Probably
10 people. How many of the UCLA students that have to drive from Westwood to Pasadena are going to Pasadena on a Friday night to watch the Bruins play the Lobos of New Mexico? The 0-2 Bruins playing the Lobos of New Mexico. They already don't get kids to go to their games. UCLA's fair by 14.5. You know what the ticket price is to get into the Rose Bowl on Friday?
$7.
$7. You're cheating.
Oh, wow. I was right.
Cheater.
No, I'm serious.
You
I'm
didn't have
editing
ESPN pulled up?
I'm editing the last hour of the show.
Okay.
Look at
I'll give you that one. Yeah, $7. $7. You can't get anything for $7. What can you get at 7-Eleven for $7? Gum?
The 7.
Sorry, I'd like to buy the 7 on your store. Here's $7. $1 for each of them. Value that it has. Ain't nobody going to that game. Colorado, Houston, Friday, 4:30. That's a 6:30 start. Central Time. Colgate, Syracuse. How many people in Syracuse, New York are going to the Colgate, Syracuse game at 7 o'clock on a Friday?
Same amount of people who are probably going to
You want to guess
Syracuse
the tickets
at 7 o'clock.
You want to guess the tickets for the Syracuse Colgate game to get into the building?
$5.
Nope.
Oh, okay.
Less. Less.
I would need about $3.50.
$3. It's like, what is it, Patrick Star? I have 3.
Make it 5.
I only have 3. Tickets as low as $3. That's an even better question. What can you get at 7-Eleven for $3? What can you get anywhere for $3? If I'm paying via credit card, I cannot get into the Sportsplex for $3. It's $3.25. $3 entry is to get into the Poway Sportsplex, and I get a free drink token back. What do I get watching Syracuse and Colgate on a Friday night for $3?
You get a memorable night at the Carrier Dome.
Tickets as low as $3. The fees are probably more expensive than $3 tickets.
Probably.
Upper level 307, $4 at the Carrier Dome. That's amazing.
How can you put a price on lifelong memories?
You could sit at the 50-yard line for $25.
How can you put a price on lifelong memories?
Adam Klug, clean teeth for watching Colgate.
There it is.
Do we have that sounder? We should get that.
Yeah, we do. Hold on.
Adam Klug on the jokes today. $3 to get into that game. That tells you that, I mean, everybody says how lucrative it is for these Friday night games. Oh, everybody watches. Ain't nobody watching these games. Kansas State, Arizona. I'll watch on the plane ride that I'm flying to Nashville, but if I wasn't flying to Nashville, I wouldn't be watching that game at all.
You'd be going to Olympia and Santana. Like
I would be going to Olympia and Santana. I'd probably be going to Granite Mission Hills, but, you know, that's neither here nor there.
But you wouldn't get to meet Uncle Martin at Granite Mission Hills.
No, but I, you know, maybe it would meet him at a different game. Frank needs a girl that's up for a $3 game. That's rude. Anyway, Kansas State, Arizona. Like, just look at the ticket prices. They'll tell you whether or not this is a lucrative idea to have college games on a Friday night. K-State, Arizona to get in Arizona Stadium in Tucson, $20. How about that? By the way, we talked about Aztec tickets all the time. You want to take a look at like Aztec tickets for the Cal game? Maybe. Hopefully, it's not super expensive.
It's $80.
Cal San Diego State on Saturday next week, 7:30, $71 to get in. $71 to get into that game.
Where's the one sound? I don't.
K-State, Arizona cost $20 to get in. Now their stadium's bigger, but still. $71 to get into the Cal San Diego State game next week. Maryland, Wisconsin's $30. You could watch Arizona State play Baylor for $47. You could watch West Virginia play Kansas for $30. You could watch Syracuse at Clemson for $60. San Diego State, Cal, $71 to get in.
We wondered why there was only like 8,000 people there against Stony Brook.
Yeah. Here's one for you. You ready for this? Here's what you need. Okay. To get into Snapdragon Stadium for California, San Diego State, we said it was $71.
Mm-hmm.
For $3 more, Frank, do you know you can get into 24th ranked Auburn Tigers at the 13th ranked Oklahoma Sooners? I get it. Way bigger stadium. $74 to get into Auburn at Oklahoma. $71 to get into Cal San Diego State. I don't care how good Cal's quarterback is. That's not worth $71. I love this game. It's so much fun.
San Diego State, we appreciate you. We appreciate us allowing us to interview the people we've allowed and the people that you will hopefully continue to let us interview. Lower your prices.
They got to get people in the building. They have to get them in the building. Raise the concessions or do one or the other. Lower the concessions and raise the ticket price. Get people in the building. Get them in the building.
Do the San Diego FC model. Just do what they do.
So you can watch San Diego State Cal for $71, or you could drive to LA at 8 o'clock and watch Michigan State, who's 2-0, play USC, who's also 2-0, for $51. I get it. Bigger stadium. I get it. But there should never be a situation where watching San Diego State football costs more than watching USC or watching Auburn, Oklahoma.
You know what could be free tonight, though?
What?
Watching a Padre win against the Rockies.
I hope that's the case. I hope that's the case.
Could be free if you decide to watch at home.
It's true. I mean, we could keep going in the list. At least, I mean, Cal's one of their better games, right?
Don't lose to a guy named McCade.
Are you playing the name game? Have you ever played the name game?
The guy's name is McCade Brown going tonight for the Rockies. Don't lose to a guy named McCade.
McCade Brown sounds like a NASCAR driver.
It's a Rockies pitcher who's
I understand
0-3 with a 12.54 ERA.
What you know what that tells me, Frank? He could be a NASCAR driver. Maybe he's in the wrong sport. Maybe McCade Brown should be racing cars.
There's a guy who is going to
not pitching.
There's a guy who is going to be racing in the ARCA series at Bristol tonight, whose name is Butterbean Queen.
Excuse me?
Yes, you heard me right.
That sounds like a Pop-Tart flavor. What'd you say his name was?
Butterbean is his nickname, but everyone calls him is Butterbean Queen.
Butterbean Queen's Pop-Tarts are up next on Court 14.
They're
taking on Coldplay has ruined my life. We're going to take a break. Talk with Eddie Brown when we come back.
Ben and
Final segment of the Braden Surprenant Show on a Thursday. A lot of football talk in the last segment, if you will. A lot in this last hour. We've made our picks with Skyler to start off the 1 o'clock hour. We talked about the travesty that is playing college football games on a Friday night. TV companies don't care. And now let's talk about the NFL. And more with the NFL for a lot of people out there that play fantasy football. Skyler was already complaining about her season being cooked with Xavier Worthy. And who's the other receiver she had?
AJ Brown.
AJ Brown, a total of 1.5 points. She was in a rabbit hole. There's a lot of people that had Xavier Worthy that need receiver pickups. There's a lot of people that had George Kittle that need tight end pickups. And most of the league waivers have already gone through. But if you've been asleep at the wheel, now is your chance. Eddie Brown for the San Diego Union Tribune joins us on the Braden Surprenant Show, his weekly fantasy football spot, as we try to help you guys out, get some supplementals this week, get you through the waiver period, try to rebuild the team that you thought was going to be really good that's now not good after week one. Eddie, what's going on? How's your Thursday?
Braden, I'm doing well. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. I'm doing better than my fantasy teams did over the first week. A lot of it has to do with luck and everything like that. How did Eddie Brown's teams do in week one?
My head-to-head was split. I think I was 2-2. And I had a pretty good week in my weird roto league. I think I finished fourth, which was in the money for the week. So it wasn't bad. It was a good start considering week one's all about how we don't know what we don't know.
100%. Eddie Brown's a sports reporter for the San Diego Union Tribune. He specializes in the NFL draft and fantasy football. Let's talk about the big pickups this week. So far, I mean, obviously a lot of people were looking for tight ends with the George Kittle injury. People were looking for receivers with the Xavier Worthy injury. What are some of the big names that have been flying off the board that that have been probably taken at this point for anybody that hasn't made their picks in yet?
Yeah, I think if you were trying to place tight end, especially Kittle, there were a lot of options out there. Two of my favorites were Juwan Johnson, which is somebody I thought was going to do well this season, specifically because Taysom Hill is out, so he's going to get more run and be on the field more. And even to begin the season, Foster Moreau is not even there. So I thought he was going to be a big part of that offense, and it turned out I was right. Week 1, the volume was there. I think he had like 12 targets or 11 targets. And he was coming into the week, he was available in pretty much all leagues. So he still might be available out there if, in your league, you should check. One tight end that I was really excited about coming into the season, I wasn't sure how he was going to be used in Cleveland because they already had Njoku. So I was thinking like, oh, Njoku's in his contract year, so maybe they sit Harold Fanning and kind of let him, get a taste, and then Njoku leaves in free agency, maybe comes in. No, it looks like they have a plan for Fanning in Cleveland. It looks like Stefanski's actually kind of using him like a third receiver, and it's a good idea because Njoku and him they have kind of different skill sets. Fanning's all about finding space and kind of sitting there, and he just kind of gravitates towards it naturally. He had coming off of one of the greatest collegiate seasons in the history of the game for the position. So looks like it's carrying over. He had a pretty good week out there too. Receivers, it's about Hollywood Brown because of the injuries that the Chiefs are dealing with. Quentin Johnson was available in most leagues. People still might be apprehensive on him, and they still might be apprehensive on the Chargers, turning a leaf and setting Herbert free and letting him throw the ball. So he still might be available. I'm assuming that Brown's probably off the board.
Yeah, I actually drafted Hollywood Brown late in my touchdown-only league, so that's a must-start for me this particular week. Definitely with some injuries out there as well. A couple other moves. I mean, we talk about, and here there's the difference, and people don't necessarily know, but in leagues where it doesn't cost you money to make pickups, or you don't have limitations on how many waivers you can pick up. There's this process of streaming where you can go and play the best matchups and do it a lot with kickers and defenses and players like that. For the streamers out there that try to finagle their roster every week to week, who are some of the big plays this week that might be available?
Yeah, I mean, you can even do it at tight end because honestly, outside of the top, 2, 3, 4 spots, it's a crapshoot pretty much every week. So defense is one that I think most people definitely do. Also kicker, but kicker is kind of like, what, you can use a dart to try to find your kicker on a week-to-week basis because it's negligible as far as the outcome. It's essentially luck if you don't have one of the top kickers, and we really don't know who the top kickers are going to be until probably a month or two in. As far as defense is concerned, though, I'm surprised. Like I look at the Packers; they're playing tonight against the Commanders at home. I look at them as challenging the Broncos is probably the best defense in the NFL, or the Rams even. And both those teams, the Packers and the Rams, are woefully under rostered coming into the week. I think the Rams were available in 93% of ESPN leagues and 71% of Yahoo leagues. Packers are available in over half of all ESPN and Yahoo leagues. I imagine that a lot of people aren't going to pick them up this week against the Commanders, but it's at Lambeau. It's a short week. So I would hedge in thinking that the Packers defense has an advantage over the Commanders offense in that one. And the Rams are my number one streaming defense this week, going up against the Titans. They're on the road, but it's a rookie quarterback. Cam Ward was decent. He could have been worse in his first start against the Broncos. But think about the competition. But he still got sacked 6 times, and he was held to 112 passing yards. And that Rams defense is the truth. And I think they're gonna have a pretty good week. And they, like I said, they were available in almost 95% of ESPN leagues coming into the week. So
we're talking with Eddie Brown, who writes for the San Diego Union Tribune. He's a sports reporter, and he is our fantasy football expert. So that's from the streaming standpoint. Now, it's a little bit more difficult. Like in one of the leagues I play in, it's the Roto League where you're playing week to week against everybody in the league. You have 2 options for a waiver claim. during the week. You get capped out at 2, and each one costs $10. Like in those leagues, you have to be certain that this guy that you are picking up is going to do damage for you down the road. I know you've mentioned a lot of pickups already. From that perspective, who are the must adds if you are, one of the guys at the top of the waiver wire that you can like count on for a couple of weeks that didn't get drafted?
Well, you know what? If you're thinking ahead, I don't know if you can't count on them right now, but if you're thinking ahead, I'm looking at Jackson Dart, especially if you're in a deeper league. We all know, I think we're probably one subpar performance, Russell Wilson performance from the Dart era beginning in New York. There's rushing upside. I think he showed a lot of that in the preseason, and obviously if you watched him at Ole Miss. And there was a dynamism to him that Wilson probably had in the beginning of his career that has probably diminished in his twilight. So I think you could pick him up right now basically for free and probably spend a small amount and probably reap the rewards of Neighbors and Tyrone Tracy and guys there. There's a lot of different weapons for the Giants, and at some point they're going to be behind because that secondary is going to allow some points, even though the front seven is pretty decent. I think a wide receiver one in kind of hiding in plain sight is Keyshawn Boutte. Like for the Patriots, he was somebody that I think Drake May had formed a connection with last year at the end of the year down the stretch. Coming out week one, everybody thought, Stephon Diggs, obviously wide receiver one. They drafted Kyle Williams. They have Demario Douglas there. They have Hunter Henry there. Boutte is the one that tied Henry for the team lead in targets with 8. He finished with 103 yards, caught 6 balls. And he was kind of banged up a little bit in and out of the game, or it might have been a bigger game than that. So I don't think there's going to be a stampede to him either. If you want to pick him, there's a good chance that he's the number one guy in a New England offense that is on the ascension. So I think coming into this week, he was available in pretty much 99% of the league. So I think that's somebody who's going to pay dividends maybe right away, especially this week against Miami, and then going forward.
Last thing, or not really last thing, I wanted to ask you about the Patriots because I wanted to ask a little bit about Drake May. Drake May this week, according to ESPN.com, is a great start against the Miami Dolphins. How do you evaluate Drake May as a fantasy quarterback for maybe the people that drafted him because they loaded up on receivers and running backs and didn't mind about the quarterback position, being one of their heavy hitters? How do you see Drake May as a fantasy quarterback?
Well, I mean, first off, this week, all Patriots are on the board against Miami. The Dolphins were the one team last week that essentially looked atrocious. I mean, the vibes are off, obviously, there. Things aren't right with Tyreek Hill. The defense were pretty much freestyling the entire game against the Colts, made Daniel Jones look like, Joe Montana in his prime. And I expected Jones to be decent, but, he looked way better than I think what most people expected. So I think that was more due to the Dolphins defense than Daniel Jones. May, it's all upside. He showed last year during his cup of coffee that he had upside as far as producing with his legs. That's something that we're always looking for in fantasy because that provides a high floor. And the arm talent has never been questioned. So it's all about, the offseason was all about putting weapons around him. And they went out and they signed Stephon Diggs, which should be a solid addition. We just talked about Keyshawn Boutte. Travion Henderson is somebody that I think has Jahmyr Gibbs upside. Hunter Henry is one of the most solid tight ends in the NFL. It was all about adding protection. They added some talent on that offensive line, so it's going to take a little time to gel. But I think there's a lot of upside in this offense, and I think if Drake May is as good as I think he is and as good as what we saw last year, I think the trajectory is going to be pointing up the entire season. So how he looks in November compared to now and how this offense is running in November compared to now, it should be, a step or two ahead.
And we only have like a minute left, but I do want to get the daily fantasy lineup of tonight, Washington and Green Bay. Maybe some people want to throw some action on the game tonight. Who is the one player in tonight's game you would like to build a daily lineup again around?
Well, you know what was good to see week one, Debo. The way the Commanders are going to use him, I think everybody thought when they traded Robinson to the Niners that was going to open up a space for Decory Crosby-Merritt and maybe even Austin Eckler and some of the other backs that they have there. But it looks like Debo's the goal line hammer. He's going to replace Robinson. His one run came inside the red zone, and he took it. He housed it for a touchdown. Plus, he also got 10 targets, which is something that he didn't get a lot of. There wasn't a lot of double-digit target games in San Francisco because they kind of looked at him as more of just like, let's just get him as many touches as we can. But they split it pretty evenly amongst carries and targets. So if he's going to be that active in the pass game and they're going to use him in the run game when they get close, which it should happen pretty frequently this year, I think Debo's the guy that you're gonna want to have in your lineups pretty much weekly. And he has a good history against the Packers tonight. It's good to build around him and Daniels, and I think come back on the other side and get like a cheap receiver like Romeo Doubs. It's a mess in Green Bay with the receivers. I know everybody was excited by Matthew Golden, but the thing is Doubs was the only guy that was on the field over half the snaps, and it's pretty much a dart throw to see which one of those guys are going to have a good week, a fantasy relevant week, and Doubs is the least expensive, so why not throw a dart his way?
Eddie, always great talking to you. Always great getting some information on fantasy football. Good luck this weekend and all of your fantasy endeavors, and we'll talk to you next week.
I appreciate it, Brendan. You take care.
Eddie Brown, San Diego Union Tribune, joining us each and every Thursday talking fantasy football. Padres and Rockies tonight. Gwen and Chris coming up next. Equator SoCal Padres pregame show at 5:40. Tomorrow, we will have another packed show. High school football, college football, NFL, whip around getting available for you on the Braden Surprenant Show. Plus, Padres baseball, a lot of great topics to talk about with the Padres. They got 16 games left. For Frank Marchese, I'm Braden Surprenant. This has been the Braden Surprenant Show on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97 through the Fan. See you guys tomorrow.